MJ, and this week I am here with another video. It's a little different than normally what I would do. And first of all, let's talk about this lip for a second. I'm living all of my goth dreams today. Like all my preteen, like emo MJ and teenage emo MJ. Loving this lip today. It's October. I figure I can go with a dark lip and it won't be a big deal. But back to what the actual video is. I just had to talk about that for a second because it's amazing. This week I have been feeling a lot of anxiety, and when I'm feeling really anxious, there's a couple things that happen. One is I like to make lists. That helps me. It may not help you if you have anxiety, but I started making lists quite a while ago because it helped kind of have me deal with some of the issues that I was dealing with and why I was anxious, or what could help my anxiety, which I don't deal with as much as I used to, but I still deal with it quite a bit. So one of the first top 10 lists that I made was MJ's top 10 favorite movies. And this is very blanketed movies, like it's not like genre specific or specific companies. I have lists upon lists of movies that I love from different genres and different like series and different companies. My next favorite movie is Iron Man 3, and people ask me like, well, wait, why is it Iron Man 3, not Iron Man 1? I really liked the first Iron Man movie. I really did. The second one, I've watched a few times, and I feel like it's taken me 5 or 6 times watching it to be able to say, yeah, I really, really like this movie. But this movie, the first time I saw it, this was, I think, one of the first midnight premieres that I went to, and I absolutely loved it. Like, I had a 24-hour, I was up for 24 hours when I went to see this movie the first time, because I had a sorority event, I had classes all day, and I stayed up because I was like, I'm not going to fall asleep before the movie. I found this movie really, I don't know, it was very humanizing, and I feel like that was the thing that it needed, was to come back from where Iron Man 2 left off and where the Avengers left off. And you see Tony Stark kind of dealing with like PTSD and this huge issue that isn't really talked about in a lot of superhero movies, even though you'd expect PTSD and night terrors and stuff like that because of what they've dealt with. But I feel like a lot of movies have become my favorite because they've hit me in certain points of my life, and this was kind of a very good example of one of them. I feel like this video is going to be like an hour and a half long if I don't speed it up. Okay, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Like, I loved the first Captain America movie. I loved the third Captain America movie, but this one, I've watched this so many times. Like, my friends get really annoyed with me because I'm like, I really want to watch the Winter Soldier. And it was just a really good movie. You know, it opened up the door for, you know, kind of the next Marvel expansion. And you know what? There's nothing else I can really say about it. It's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. I actually didn't get to go see the premiere of this one because I was going to Las Vegas that day. So it was like 2 weeks later after I saw it. So I had to avoid like Tumblr and everything else because I didn't want to have any spoilers. So when I first saw this movie, it's like, this is one of those movies where it's like, when I saw Civil War, we went on the midnight premiere and there were several teenagers sitting next to my best friend and I. And one had a pillow and she was crying into it and hugging it the whole time and like screaming. It ruined my experience of seeing Civil War. And this movie, I guess I didn't have that experience. It was really nice. But that's one drawback, whatever, of seeing movies like this, because you have people who go and who physically react, but it's very distracting to everyone around them. Okay, my next movie. This is a movie I feel like everybody has seen. I had a professor in college who could not believe that I hadn't seen this movie. He actually said something like, I can't believe you don't have a script of this movie at your house. And I hadn't seen it. There's a lot of movies that I haven't seen, and people make fun of me for it. And that kind of was like, wait, why do you think I'd have a script of it at my house? Like, that's a little odd. I mean, is it just because that's the kind of person you think I am? But when I finally got around to seeing it, I was in college. I feel like a lot of these movies I saw in college. And I was in my dorm room with one of my friends, and she's like, well, why don't we watch this movie? And then we made lots of really funny jokes and really inappropriate comments the entire time we were watching the movie. But it's an amazing film, and I really liked it. I read the book as well. I read the book after I saw the movie the first time, and I tend to be one of those people where I will read the book if I really like the movie, if the movie has a book, or I'll be one of those people who reads the book before they watch the movie and then get really, really disappointed in the movie. I can't tell you, like, what movies that actually has pertained to in my past, but there's definitely been a few. This next movie is a movie that I think I started watching in high school. I think I saw it right after it came out. This movie came out in 2010. So I was a senior in high school when this movie came out, or I was a freshman in college, one of the two. It depends on when in 2010 it came out. But again, I ended up becoming a radio TV major in college, and like we used to make jokes about it at the radio station. We used to make jokes about what we could do to avoid certain issues, and I said one day, I'm like, why don't we just go pirate radio on it? We'll just get a boat. And Pirate Radio is a really funny movie. There's a bunch of very funny British actors in this film, and it's a very odd movie, but you get a lot of music from the 60s, and it just was amazing because it's songs that you know from other things. I feel like I don't know a lot of people who've seen this movie, and it makes me really sad because it's such a funny movie. But when you put like Bill Nighy and like Philip Seymour Hoffman, other people like that in one movie, it just became really funny. Okay, I have five more, and I've been filming for like 25 minutes. It's going to be just cut right up, and I have to write lesson plans this afternoon, of course. This next one I have been watching since I was probably 13 or 14, And I love musicals. It's not a secret. I have never been to, like, Broadway, even though that's one of my goals, is to go see a bunch of different musicals on Broadway. And one of them that I still really, really want to see, even though I don't even know if it's playing right now, is Phantom of the Opera. And this is the movie version with Gerard Butler, which is still a great movie. I have, I think, 3 or 4 different versions. I think I have the original. I've read the book. I have the Royal Albert Hall version. I have the sequel. I haven't watched the sequel yet because people have told me it's terrible, but I just haven't had the time. But I feel like the music in this one was really what got me, because the score is amazing. The songs, I mean, it's an Andrew Lloyd Webber musical, so, you know, I mean, you expect it to be these amazing ballads and these great, very large movements of people and songs and all of it, and it's a great story. I really enjoy it. I read the book. The book is very, very different than the movie, but, you know, I can't really expect much because most books are very different than their movies, or they have a lot of different components. Alright, let's keep moving because there's my stacks just going to pile up here. I don't know which one I'm going to save that one for last. Okay. I took Japanese in high school. Like, that's not a secret. I took Japanese in high school. And Hayao Miyazaki is one of my favorite filmmakers of animated films. And, you know, finally when they came out with, like, their collaboration with Disney of bringing out all the movies again, I was able to get, this actually may have been before then, because I got this one, like, right after it came out in the U.S., but it's Howl's Moving Castle, and I always really liked it. I haven't read the book. I have the book, but I haven't read the book yet, just because I have, you know, 350 books to read, and it's kind of at the bottom of my list. But it was very fanciful. I mean, Hayao Miyazaki's animation style and artwork and everything else just is always very unique, and you want to watch it again because it's all these just beautifully done scenes with amazing characters and dialogue and everything that you want in a good animated film. I feel like most anything Studio Ghibli touches is amazing. So this is one, I have like a whole stack of them on my shelf, but there's a few that I haven't seen. Like, I haven't seen Princess Mononoke, and people think I'm crazy. And I feel like there's a couple other ones that I haven't seen yet, but will see eventually. But I really like the movie. I mean, there's not really much else I can say about it. Alright, the next one is one of, if not my favorite, like, non-princess Disney movies. And when I tell people that I really like this movie, they're like, wait, that's a movie? Really? And it came out in the 90s, and I'm a big fan of Sherlock Holmes, just in general, the book, the TV shows, the movies, whatever. But I really like The Great Mouse Detective. It was one of, I think, the first non-Disney princess movies that I ever saw. The bat at the beginning scared me every single time, even though I would watch it over and over and over again, and I knew it was happening. It still kind of scares me as an adult. And it's one of those films that when you tell people it's your favorite, they kind of look at you like, but there are so many other Disney movies that you could like. Why is it The Great Mouse Detective? And I can't tell you why. It's just been one of my favorite movies since I can remember, and nothing will probably ever change that. It's just, I mean, it's like a mouse parody of Sherlock Holmes, and I love that. It's amazing. It is. It's a really great movie, and I really, really enjoy it. And it's just, it's a movie that people don't talk about anymore because it's like, nobody knows what it is. My stack. Alright, I have two more. I think this is one of the most quotable movies I've ever seen. And I've had conversations with, like, my best friend, because she's the one I saw it with, of course. I have, like, one friend who lives close enough to actually go see movies with right now, and now she's moved to California. But Deadpool, I have small children at school tell me they've seen it, and I'm like, why is your parent taking you to see Deadpool or letting you watch it? just because, you know, they say the F word, somebody counted like, what, 54 times? And I don't really think that's appropriate for a child, but I have kids who also tell me now that they've seen the movie It, and I'm like, that's not even appropriate for me, so why is your parent taking you to see it? But I digress. Oh, my DVDs just fell. This is the problem with having a 5-minute recording interval, because everything falls when you sit back down. But I think this is one of the most quotable movies that I've seen, and that I actually still quote, and I'm really excited for the sequel. I mean, there's not really much I can say. I mean, if you haven't seen it and you're old enough to see it, go see it, or rent it, find it somewhere. It's amazing. Like, I absolutely love it. It's just one of those things, if it's like, it's so ridiculous that you either really, really love it, or you absolutely hate it. There is no in between that I've found, and that's up to you. I think it's very funny. Alright, last one. My gosh, it's been like an hour and a half since I started filming. It's not really. It's like half an hour since I started filming this. And I feel like I haven't gotten anywhere. My last film is one that I think I saw for the first time when I was in high school. I feel like I got a lot less sheltered while I was in high school, to be honest. Even though I was dealing with quite a few issues in the mental health spectrum. But I watched this movie, I can't even remember, like somebody suggested it to me, and I watched it and I was like, wow, it's a fantastic movie. And I've watched it, I think, more than any other movie I've watched in the last 8-9 years, ever since I got a copy of it. But I have 3 copies of this film. I have the Blu-ray, I have the DVD, and I have the 30th anniversary edition. That's how much I love this movie. Like, I have all the little pop figures, I think, except for 2, but I need to get those, and they're on my Amazon list. But it's one of those films that I think this is my favorite film. Like, my favorite film. And it's just one of those movies that, again, it's either you really like it or you think it's weird. Like, all my friends who have seen it think it's really odd. It's one of those, like, 80s films that you're not quite sure about, and then you watch it a few times and you're like, oh, I really like that. But I feel like, again, anything that Jim Henson ever touched was amazing. And this is The Labyrinth with David Bowie. And I watched this the day after he passed away. And I hadn't seen it in like a year, just because I kind of go in cycles where I watch it 5 or 6 times a year, and then there's 1 year where I don't watch it at all, because I was in school and I didn't have my copy at school with me. And I can't tell you why this is my favorite movie, but I absolutely love this movie. I love the thought of the labyrinth. I love the thought of everything about it. The music is amazing. The scenes are amazing. It was ahead of its time. And I don't know if I would ever watch a remake of this film, because in my opinion, you can't do better than this. I absolutely love this film. I do. There's no, like, ifs, ands, or buts about it for me. It's just, this is an amazing film. This is the 30th anniversary edition. I don't actually have my regular DVD or my Blu-ray out right now. My DVD was the copy that I took to college, so just in case it got ruined, it wouldn't be a big deal, and I still had my Blu-ray. But I know, because I'm a person who actually works quite a bit, that I don't have time to watch it all the time. It's just a great film. Like, I can't tell you any more than that. It's a great film. And if you don't like movies like this, I mean, that's your opinion. That's totally your opinion. But this is my favorite movie. It has been my favorite movie for the last several years, since the first time I saw it. And there are other movies that come close. You just saw the other 9 that come close, but this is kind of that one film that I can watch over and over. Like, I have friends who can watch, like, Star Wars over and over again, or Harry Potter over and over again. This is just one of those films that, you know, again, anything Jim Henson touched was amazing. And I don't have anything bad to say about this movie. I don't. I have nothing bad to say about this film. It was fanciful. It was fun. It was like a kind of coming of age sort of story. Alicia made she's like, well, you like Pan's Labyrinth. I'm like, no. But I've never seen Pan's Labyrinth. But this movie, it was in my best friend's quiz video as my favorite movie. I have the book. Like, they actually came out with a book pertaining to this movie that I have not read yet. It's on my list. It's not gonna happen before next year. But this is just one of those movies that I can't describe how much I enjoy it. And I'm just going to eat it because I have lost my train of thought. Alright. But this is definitely, I think, my favorite movie. Out of all the movies I've seen, of all the movies I own, this is probably my favorite movie. Alright, well, that is all that I have for you guys this week. Last week's video will be linked down below. I did some baking last week. It actually turned out really, really cute. My links to social media will be down below. You can subscribe down below. You can like this video. You can comment. Whatever you want to do. I'm good. Thank you to everybody who's watched my video this far on, even if I've been talking for 20 minutes, because that's apparently me as a person now. But I think that's all I have for you guys this week. Actually, no, it's not. There will be a second video this week because my Disney Treasures box is on its way. It should be here at some point this week, so there should be a new video or another video up this week unboxing it, so look for that. Once that comes out, I will link that in the description, but it won't be out by the time this video comes out. So I hope you guys all have a great week, and I will see you next Monday with another video. Bye!